Hello again, boys and girls. Now we're going to do math. We're going to start talking about money, and we're going to focus on coins. So in front of you, you should have a nickel and a penny. And up here, I have paper ones taped. Okay, as you know, coins have two sides. Often the side with the head is called heads, and the back is called tails, even though it's on a tail. Okay, so we're going to focus on pennies and nickels. Okay, so let's look at our coin. We're going to talk about how they're alike and how they're different. So let's look at the penny carefully. Okay, what do you notice? First thing you notice, right, is their color is different. Very good. A penny is a copper color because it's made of copper. Some pennies might look a little orangish, or some might look brown, depending on how old the coin is. Okay, also on the back of the penny, sometimes there's a different image because nowadays they change them. So we're going to talk about what's on the most of the pennies and the nickels on the back. Okay, so the first thing we notice about our penny and our nickel is that they are a different color. Very good. This is a copperish color, brown or orangish, and the nickel is silver in color. Okay, let's look more closely. What else do you notice? Very good. The penny in size is smaller than the nickel, right? Okay, so their color is different and their size is different. Is their shape different? No. They are both circles, right? Plain, flat circles. We call them plain circles. Okay, let's look a little more closely now at the penny. Do you recognize the man on the penny? Right, that's Abraham Lincoln. We learned about him in February. He was the 16th President of the United States. Do you remember anything special that he did? Right? He was part of the Civil War, and he wrote that big, long speech called the Emancipation Proclamation that helped free the slaves. Very good. So we have the head of Abraham Lincoln on the penny. Now let's turn our penny over, and let's look at the back. Some of you might have, here's in black and white so you might be able to see, but a building. And that building is called the Lincoln Memorial because it was made in honor of Abraham Lincoln, and there is, looks like a keyhole on the paper one, but a statue of him sitting in a chair. Okay, now let's go to the nickel. Again, we see a head. Is it the same head? Is it Abraham Lincoln? No, it's not. It's Thomas Jefferson. He was the third president of the United States, and he is one of the people who helped start making the United States money system. Okay, let's look at the back of his coin. Now, some of you might have something different because old ones have a buffalo on the back. So these are historical pictures. The one that I have and the one that is on most coins is a building, a big building, and it's called the Monticello. It's a house that Thomas Jefferson helped design for himself and his family. Okay, so we talked about how they look alike and different. Now let's look more closely. So if you have a magnifying glass, this is where it will help you. And if you don't, that's okay because I have it here on paper and you'll get a copy of these so that you can see the words. Okay, do you see any words that you know on the front, the head side of Abraham Lincoln? Good. You see the words, in God we. You know those words. It says, in God we trust, right above his head. Okay, because as a nation, right, in God we trust. Okay, let's go over to the nickel and see if we find those same words, in God we trust. Okay, so Thomas Jefferson is looking at those words on the nickel, also on the head side. Okay, good. Do you see any other words? Right, there's one that begins with an L by Abraham Lincoln's back. That word is liberty. And do you remember what liberty means? You've heard of the Statue of Liberty. And when we heard the story of the Pilgrims, they left England so they could have liberty. Liberty is freedom because our nation is a country of freedom where we get to make choices, right? Okay, let's see if we find the word liberty on the nickel. Okay, that too. It's at the back of Thomas Jefferson's head. The word liberty. Good job. Okay, what else do you see? Let's go to the back of the coins now. Okay, let's look at the penny on the back. Okay, at the top of the coin, arched like a rainbow. I have two different pennies here. I wonder if it says it in the same spot. Yes. It says This penny has a shield on the back, so different ones they've changed. Still Abraham Lincoln, no. Okay, yes, the words are still there on the back. Big 4 words. You see the word of. United States of America. Let's see if we find it on the nickel. On the back of the nickel. Okay, good. It's along the bottom like a smiley face. United States of America. Why do you think those words are on these coins? Right, because this is United States of America money. So different countries have different types of money. Okay, so you wouldn't be able to go to any country and use our American money. You would have to trade it in, and they would give you the money of their country. Okay, so we see United States of America, so we know where we can use the coin and where the coin is from. Okay, do you see any other words? Okay, if you have the Thomas Jefferson, the nickel, on the back, the Monticello house, just below it, it says Monticello, the name of the house. Do you see any other words? Okay, on the back of our penny, like a smiley face, it says 1 cent. And notice the word cent is spelled with a C and not an S, because C sometimes makes a soft sound like an S. That says 1 cent. That is what it is worth. And this is how you could write it, 1 cent. The number 1 with a cent symbol. Okay, let's see if we see 5 cents on the nickel, because a nickel is worth 5 cents. I see it, F-I-V-E, cents, just above the United States of America. Okay, let's examine them more closely. Maybe pick them up in your hands. Let's look at the sides of them. Feel them with your finger. Both of the sides, the edges, feel very smooth. Okay, look more closely. Now I can see this even with my old eyes, that the nickel is thicker than the penny. Penny's a little thinner, but the nickel is thicker. So in size, the nickel is bigger, it's a bigger circle, and in thickness, the nickel is thicker than the penny. Okay, and why do you think that is? Right, because the nickel's more, so it makes sense. Ha ha, get it? It makes sense that the nickel is worth more than a penny. 1 whole nickel is 5 cents. But since pennies are only 1 cent each, we would have to use 5 pennies to make 5 cents, whereas you could just use 1 nickel to do that. Okay, there are some more words I want you to look for very carefully on the back of the penny and on the back of the nickel. See if you see any other words, because this is going to be a bonus question. If you find out what those words mean for me and tell me on Seesaw, bonus. It'll really make me smile. Okay, those words are e pluribus unum. And it's on both coins, so it must be important words, right? Okay, so we're going to practice counting coins right now, but only pennies today, because then tomorrow we're going to combine pennies and nickels. Let's look at the pocket chart. And since pennies are only worth 1 cent, we would count them by ones. So if I have 1 penny, I simply only have, what? 1 cent. Can't find what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm back. I'll have to put a post-it. So 1 penny is 1 cent. We count them by ones because they are worth 1. Okay, if I have 2 pennies, I have 1 cent, 2 cent. Because since they're only worth 1 cent, we count them by 1. If I have 3 pennies, again, I'm going to count by ones. 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent. If I have 4 pennies, you guessed it, you have 4 cents. Because they're only worth 1 each, so we count them by ones. 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4 cent. Now, which side is showing change the worth? No. Okay, if I have 5 pennies, that's right, 5 cents. Because they're worth 1, we count by ones. Put it there. Okay, 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4 cent, 5 cents. Okay. But if I have 1 nickel, it also equals 5 cents. They are both the same. So if you were going to buy something that cost 5 cents, you could either pay for it using 5 pennies, because each one is 1, 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4 cent, 5 cents, or you could use 1 nickel that is exactly 5 cents. And easier to carry because it's just 1 coin. It's 1 piece. Okay, what if I wanted to add coins? Do you think I could do that? Let's try something here. Let's get our plus sign. What if I have 1 cent plus 2 cents? Again, you're counting by ones, right? And we've already learned addition. And you guys are so good at it. Let's add these up. So 1 cent plus 2 cent. 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent. So that would equal 3 cents. Okay, if I did another one, let's do 2 cents plus another 2 cents. How many cents do we have? Since we're counting by ones, 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4 cents. That equals 4 cents. Okay, so today you're going to practice identifying pennies and nickels. I'm going to give you your own big coin paper for penny, and you can color it brown. If you want to mix in a little orange to make it more like a new penny, you can. And then if you'd like, you can cut them and paste them together like this to make your own heads and tail large coin. And just to practice at home identifying the coins. And I'll give you the same for the nickel, that you will color silver. And again, you can cut it and make yourself a larger coin. Okay, also today in your book, you're going to do this page, identifying the front and the back of a nickel and matching and the front and the back of a penny. And then on the other side, you're going to identify how many in each set. So if there's a picture of a penny, you're going to count how many pennies are there. So you see 3, you'll write 3. How many nickels are there? Okay, so we're not going to do what they're worth. We're going to write how many there are. And then at the bottom, there is a pattern of heads and tails. You're going to do that page. And also, this little book. It's all pennies. One little pig has, and use the picture, 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents. So you write 3 cents. The other little pig has 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4 cents. Circle the pig that has more. Which pig has more? Right, the girl. Now, they're going to take their cents and they're going to add it together like I showed you how, because again, they're pennies, we count by ones. The boy has 3 cents, plus the girl has 4 cents. The 2 little pigs add their money. How many cents do they have? We can count pennies by ones. 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4 cent, 5 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents. So you write 7 cents in all. So then the 2 little pigs want to spend their money. The 2 little pigs go to the store. And now remember, how many cents did they have? 7 cents. So they're going to look at the shelf and see what to buy. Here's their 7 cents. The 2 little pigs buy a bank for their money. Now the 2 little pigs can save more. Circle the bank that they will buy. Okay? You're going to do that. And then on Seesaw, there are 3 activities. One where you have to find all the pennies and circle them. The other where you find all the nickels and circle them. And the third one is counting pennies, counting how many cents there are all together. Okay, boys and girls, I know we're going to have a great time learning about money and how to count it and trade it. So many good things that we can do with money. I'll see you in a little while for religion.